Hi everyone, and welcome to Franka's Fab Family. I want to thank you so much if you've joined us for the week of green, and it's all about money matters. We are going to talk today about child support because I find that a lot of parents don't understand where child support funds are supposed to go or where they're going, particularly men. But I want you men to also understand your rights, right? The primary care and the person who has the child most of the time. It's a little different in the States because I'm learning now that both parents share the children halfway. So if one parent has the child for half of the month and then the other parent has the child for half of the month, they alternate weeks and stuff like that. I'm not particularly clear on how the parent that's paying the child support to the one parent, but I do know this. Fathers, you have all right to petition your child support payments if you have the child for 2 full weeks of the month. If you have the child for two full weeks, the child is eating at your home. They are using electricity, water, gas, and all of that at your home. And they are using services and everything that they're using at the mom's house. So you can actually petition to show that you have the same financial responsibility for the child as the mom. Additionally, I know dads, I know at least one in my family member where he pretty much raised the little girl. He raised her and the mom didn't pay any child support or anything like that. And I remember saying, take her for child support. Guys, I don't know if it's your ego or it's your pride. No, I won't take the mom for child support. Then don't complain. You know, the same way I would tell a mom, take the father for child support. And this is why. If I know one guy who's paying $800 a month for one of his children in child support, right? So you're paying this in child support. That money is to provide assistance in how the child is living. I don't know if you guys have it wrong in thinking that, okay, I'm getting this money and I'm just going to go and enjoy my nails and I'm going to go do something else with the funds. You have to understand that when you pay in child support, depending on how the parent is managing that money, unless you can honestly show that your child is being neglected, that they never have the resources that the money is intended for. Like they never have any shoes, they don't have adequate books, they don't have all of the essentials. And if that's the case, if you're a dad or you're a parent and you know you're paying child support and your child is not benefiting from the resources that you are paying, then you need to go and get your child from the other parent. You just don't get to complain and say, well, she's not taking good care of the child. Go petition the court and get your child. I don't understand that logic of, well, she's always getting her nails done and she's always asking me for sneakers or go and get your child if you think that the other parent is neglecting your child. Until both parents start really taking on the responsibility, not only financially, but for the upbringing and the well-being of the child, if for any reason, any shape and form that you think that the other parent is not providing your child with the best that they can have, please petition the court for your child. You know, one of the biggest excuses when I tell men that, well, the court does always give the mother the child. Not if it's the mother's neglectful, not if the mother's abusive, not if you can show that every month you pay this child support and your child hasn't had a new pair of sneakers in years. It's just not going to happen. I just call that excuses and many times a lazy way of dealing with it, because for some reason, particularly men, I'm sorry to say, you think that you're paying the mother. You're not paying the mother. Let's use my case, for example. I have 4 children, right? My children use all of the resources in the house more than me. All of them. They use the lights more than me. They use the water more than me. They eat more than me. They use the food more than me. They use cotton balls and Q-tips and soap and toilet paper and lotion. All of that. I'm outnumbered 4-1. Right? And if a parent don't understand that the resources in the house goes towards sustaining and maintaining the care of the children. It's not practical. That the child support helps in paying the bills for the children. Men have to also understand this. I don't get $800 a month per child, right? But let's use the $800 a month case, right? When a child is homesick with the primary care person, let's say the father don't get the child, every week. We're not talking about those cases. We're talking about the child is primarily living with the mom. Maybe now and again they see the dad or they speak to the dad now and again or whatever, but primarily living with the mom. When the child is sick, who is taking care of the child? When the child has homework needs, who is taking care of the child? When the child has grooming needs, who is taking care of the child? When the food has to be cooked, when the child has a tantrum, when the child wakes up in the middle of the night, who is taking care of the child? You think that $800 is taking care of the child? The $800 is helping to provide for a home. The $800 is helping to pay for the utilities and the bills and the services, because again, I have 4. I'm outnumbered. And you have rights through the courts if you honestly believe that you're paying child support and the child is receiving none of the resources. Dads, I want y'all to understand that the money that you pay is not for the mom to take that money and just go and buy clothes and shoes for the child. When the school calls and there's a school trip or there's an extracurricular activity, when the girl needs a new hairdo, that's where the money supplement comes in. It's absolutely, in my community, my school taxes are higher than a lot of other communities. I'm paying for that. We have a mortgage. So if you're paying the minimal financial child support, why would you continue to think, and I want you dads to understand, why do you continue to think, oh, she's going to buy a new handbag? Okay, she gets $800 in child support and you give her the $800 and she going to take $350 and she bought a bag, right? And you know she took that money. The reason why that concept is so foolish, she would have had to put in $350 in all the other amenities that the children are benefiting from, like water, like gas. So if she takes your $800 and she put it in the pot of money and she was saving for a bag for herself, right? That pot of money, because she too have to provide her own $800 for the children's living. So trying to identify, to start to nitpick down to the penny, what you have to understand, your children must eat and live someplace on a daily and monthly basis. If you as an adult decide, I don't want to pay any child support, and unless the court makes me, I'm not paying any child support, you have decided that you are so worthless as a parent that you don't even plan on contributing to feeding your generation on the planet. And I'm so grateful that the court system shuns on that. And you know why? Because every adult, again, is responsible for what they need to be responsible for. I had one dad say to me, but what happens if I didn't want the child and she decided to keep the child? You know what I said to him? You decided to have sex with this woman, unprotected, which resulted in a child. She, for whatever reason, didn't want to have an abortion. She still had to carry that child to birth. So her physical body and her life is still altered because of the child that you hold part of that DNA to. You have to feed the child. The child must eat. Who's responsible? Who is responsible for the child living on the planet and having to eat? The government? The cousin? The auntie? The sister? How are you, as a working able parent, should not have any responsibility financially because you and that parent is no longer together? And a lot of parents are very vindictive. If they're no longer with the mate, they disown the child. No problem, you still got to pay. The child have to eat. The child needs new shoes. The child needs clothes. And both parents should be contributing to that. And if you feel that you are the only one contributing and the other parent is not contributing, sue the parent for your child. The laws now, because women are fighting for equal rights, I want you men out there to know, the court is actually being quite favorable with a lot of men as well. And the reason why, you need a parent that's going to be responsible for the maintenance and the upkeep of a child successfully. And if you can prove that that other parent is not holding their own and you can provide that child with a better life, you can petition the courts. You just don't get to walk away and say, oh, that's a bad mother, that's a bad father, I'm not paying. You could actually even sue a mother for child support. Women now have to pay child support if the child lives primarily with the dad. Every single child on the planet needs some type of support. Thank God in most civilized countries and communities that they do have government assistance or whatever, but if you are a working, able adult, you are making money, and you decide, I am not giving any child support. There's another dad. He was like, she makes enough money. She doesn't need any of my money. That's not your call to make. If a mom is, let's say, making $1 million, let's put it up high, $1 million, and you are responsible to pay $400 every month for every child that you had with her. You don't get to say, she makes more money than me, I shouldn't have to pay anything. Why should you not have to contribute to the feeding of your offspring? Like, how is that even possible? If you want to go on petition and have it reduced, do that. But why do you feel that you should pay nothing to feed your own children? That again is a level of financial worthlessness. Children cannot feed themselves, and it is not one parent that had these children or child. So both parents must take on the financial responsibility to ensure that the children eat. It is not your ex's new mate's responsibility to pay for your child. Child support is to ensure that your children get the basic, and many a times it's minimum, unless you're one of these celebrities that's paying like $20,000, $40,000 a month. And if that's the case, you celebrities as well, you have rights to your children. You can petition the court to show that your children will have a better quality of life living with you. But again, many men that like to complain about child support don't necessarily want the child. They don't want the full-time responsibility of the child anyway. If you don't want to pay child support, stop going around and making children with women that you don't want to be with, you cannot be with. Just protect yourself. Go and protect yourself. The same way women should not have a child for every man that she's with, men should not go. There was a guy the other day on the news, he had 32 kids. 32 children, and I think he's only like 35 or something. He had a couple of them in a couple of years in the same year. He could only give them like $12, $14 a month in child support. The other day I saw it, it was on Instagram, where a daughter paid off her father's child support. And he's all happy and everything, and some people were saying, oh, what a good daughter, whatever. I personally thought that was disgraceful. Don't get me wrong. If she was willing to pay off his child support while he paid her back, and the reason why he needs to pay his daughter back is because his other children, which is her sibling, it's not her responsibility. Parents and adults, you cannot keep making foolish mistakes in your life and expecting everybody to come to your rescue. You must be responsible for your decisions, and that includes laying down, having sex, procreating, and then deciding, well, I don't want to have to pay. That's not my responsibility. She makes enough money. She's not using the money wisely. That's called financial worthlessness. That's called being an irresponsible adult. And again, the courts have made provisions that if you are contributing equally financially to the development of the children as the other parent, the court deals with the support depending on how you petition your case. So just staying back and complaining, decided not to pay, did the mother have to drag you back to court every now and again? Like, it just speaks of you. Oh, she makes more money now. She makes a lot. What does that have to do with your responsibility as a parent? So the concept of, oh, I have to give $100 or I have to give $1,000 every month to her who is paying for a roof over the children's head? Who is paying for the food? Who is cooking the food? Who is paying for their medical needs? Who is doing the homework? Who is doing the hair? Who is taking care of the children on a daily basis? And my children are well kept, so I should not be fussing over child support. My children are kept as well as when I was married. So what's the excuse? Beyond worthlessness. And as a parent, you fully well know, I had this other friend of mine, he's paying, a decent amount of child support. And every now and again, the mother has the daughter calling, go ask him for $20, ask him for this, ask him for that. And one time I said to him, I said, you know what? As a woman, I understand when other things come up, right? But you're paying an adequate amount of child support and you have other children, right? Instead of always just coughing up all the extra money, tell that daughter you will pay half. So if the hairstyle is $200, tell your mother, I'm still paying my child support, I will pay $100 and she has to pay the other $100. Because you have some greedy parents that will keep sending the child to beg for more. Then you have parents when unexpected things come up. Let's say your child is having a senior trip and the senior trip costs $1,400. Should you as the other parent not decide to contribute at all to that because you pay $400 a month in child support? Why would you deprive your child of an event, a special event in their life, like a senior trip? No, I'm already paying child support, so all this extra stuff I'm not doing. Parents that are paying child support, let me encourage you by telling you to take your focus off of the parent. Take your focus off of the other parent. And I know when people break up and children are involved, feelings are hurt and people feel some type of way or whatever. Like I said, in the whole of season 2, it's foolish to stay in a home where you and the parent are miserable, you're unhappy for the sake of the children. Like that just creates a whole new level of dysfunction in the child, right? So if you're paying child support, take your eyes off of the other parent and count the cost of if the money that you are ordered by the court or willingly decide to pay is sufficient for the mutual maintenance of the child. Because some fathers tend to think, oh, I'm giving her an extra $350 a month. Do you not think that she is contributing $350 a month? Think about it. The children, in my case again, are using the resources 4 times as much as I am using. So your $350 and my $350, $700 a month in this case, how are they living? And then if you're one of those parents that decide, I don't even want to find out how the kid is living. I don't really care. That's another whole different level of worthlessness because you've decided. And you can decide it if you want. And actually, for those parents that decide to abandon their children, parents out there who's raising their children alone, I say kudos to you and continue to do that good job, but make sure you take them for child support. You know why? Because the children need to eat. I remember one judge in a case in the Caribbean is going to tell the mom that she didn't have the right to spend $16 in 6 months at a beauty supply store. She's not that hard up for money because the father was an attorney and he was canoodling with the judge and all of that. And imagine the judge could tell a professional mom, oh, I can see on your financial statement, the father didn't pay child support in 4 years. And the mom took him back to court. But she had to provide all of her bank statement and everything. And the judge took time to note, well, she's not that hard up for money because she goes to the beauty supply store that added up to $16 and change. The judge even went as far as telling her sell a property. then requiring the other parent to hold on to his responsibility. As an adult, as a parent, every single person that have any child, and then the new thing is, I don't even know if the child is mine. DNA test. I don't think we have Mari anymore. Mari Povich, you are the father. You are not the father. Like, all of that is fine. Get a DNA test. It costs roughly between $300 to $500. Get a DNA test. That way you won't have to pay any child support anymore if the child is not yours. But to walk around, well, the child is not even mine. It's like, people really grow up. Parents grow up. Children have a financial obligation, so they need finances in order to maintain their life. If you feel that the other parent is not caring for your child as much as they should or can, petition the courts. Fight for your kids. Because people tend to think, and it's so foolish for you women out there, to go from one child to another child to another child to another child, and you not getting child support. You don't know how you're going to feed these children, and you're going to get a new boyfriend, and you're going to go get another child. Like, we have to be more responsible because children have a financial need. And when the parents are no longer together, child support is mandatory. It's necessary for the care of the child, right? So, pay your child support, people. Male or female, pay your child support. Your children need those funds, right? Even if it's going into account to save, as the show yesterday indicated. Saving is important, and that's not for you to do. It's not for you to do. It's for the parent who has the children to do. If you want to save extra, even better. After my divorce, the other party even canceled the life insurance. His life insurance. I still have my life insurance. It just speaks to you as a person. Take your eyes off of the other parent. Take your eyes and your intentions off. Those are your children. Do right by your children. And if you're one of those dads that you know that you're paying or whatever, keep your receipts. So if you have one of those worthless mothers that say, oh, he didn't pay anything, show your receipts to your children later on. People, let's just start being more responsible. Take your eyes off of the other adult. Y'all want to continue to war, but the children don't need to suffer in the beginning of y'all dysfunction and madness, right? I am Franka Potter. I want to thank you so much for tuning in again with me. And remember, money matters. Pay your bills, live within your means, have some savings, and pay your child support. I am Franka. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.